Hey everybody, what's going on? Bob here in the video vault for the first time in almost 2 years. I just logged into my channel for the first time. I saw the last video that I posted was in May of 2016, so we are going on 2 years. I'm sure that absolutely none of you guys have missed me, but you know what? I always did these videos for fun. I mean, YouTube has changed so much, I couldn't even monetize this channel if I wanted to. But I decided to bring them back anyway because the whole thing with this video series, these videos, was just a place for me to talk about movies, which I love doing, and hopefully you guys enjoy listening and watching, and also maybe you learn something about a release that you didn't even know existed, or whatever the case may be. I just like doing them for fun, so I decided to bring them back, and this is, like I said, the first one in about 2 years. So what I'm going to do is I just want to go over some of the movies I've got in my collection. I've got probably about 1,200 titles right now. I've added a ton in the last couple of years. I've also gotten rid of a lot in the last couple of years and purged out a lot. But I want to show you what I've been focusing on. So let's go ahead and take a look at the current layout and stuff in my collection. Alright everybody, so first of all I just kind of want to show you a full overview of what my collection looks like right now. This is, I'm not going to say this is everything. This is almost everything. This is the main portion of it. But you'll notice here, what I do have is I have some 4Ks, mostly Blu-rays, and then down on the very bottom there we've got HD DVDs. What I don't have over here is my DVD collection anymore. I actually I did purge quite a few of them, but I also moved out anything that was left to make room for what was coming in. So I do not buy DVDs at all. I pretty much exclusively stick to Blu-rays and 4K. The exception being if there's like an indie movie that's come out on DVD only. I will pick that up sometimes if it's something that really intrigues me. Although I do try to hold out for the Blu-ray if it's possible. So. Basically, the way that I have my collection set up is pretty straightforward. See up here, I do alphabetical on pretty much everything, but not everything exactly. I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So up here, I have started collecting 4Ks, and they pretty much go from the beginning of the shelf all the way up to X-Men right now. And then I've got a couple of things spread over here that obviously are not 4Ks, but I got into collecting these. For the most part, the price on these is very similar, if not cheaper, than the Blu-ray counterpart, and 99% of them come with a Blu-ray anyway. So what I'll end up doing is I'll just, if it's a new movie that's come out, It, for example, pretty brand new movie, obviously. This came with the 4K and the Blu-ray. I have a 4K player, I just don't have a 4K TV. So, but for my money, there's no reason to stick to buying brand new movies on just Blu-ray if they're available on 4K and the price is good. Some of these I have upgraded because the price was really good on them. I have John Wick on Blu-ray, but I picked up the 4K. I think this was like $4, and it's a great movie. So, just kind of future-proofing the collection a little bit. It's just something I want to do. I'm not going out of my way to do 4K, and I'm not doing spending tons and tons of money on them, but the most expensive one I probably have is the Prestige, and I do have 2 copies, and the reason for that is Best Buy had originally canceled my order, and then they ended up sending it anyway, and in the interim I had ordered the version from Australia, so this is actually the Australian 3-disc version of the Prestige. This is one of my favorite movies. This movie is awesome. And what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to end up selling off one of the copies at some point in time. So, like I said, I pretty much do alphabetical for my movies, with the exception of this shelf right here. I'm a little weird. I'm a little OCD about stuff. So what I've done is I actually organize these. You can see mostly by physical size, right all the way down through here. So that way you're not, when I'm looking at them, they're not jumbled all over the place. I wouldn't like it. It's just not for me. So what I do is I do kind of by order by size for these media books and things like that, and then until you get into here. So these are still organized by size, but I do go into done by the studio. So these are all of my Arrow releases right now, and I kind of mix them in. I've got most of the Arrow, these are horror titles, and then we throw in an Arrow Academy Cinema Paradiso right here, one of the greatest movies of all time, the best movie about movies ever made. And then right into the Criterions. You know, I only have a handful of most of these. I only have, you know, these handful of Arrows, and I only have a handful of the Criterion. But I still just really like the way that they look on the shelf together. So instead of mixing them in alphabetically, that's how I end up doing that. Same with, you know, keep going here. I just picked up my first, this is an MVD title. It's the first one that I have. It's Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. They've announced a handful of really awesome titles. They've got Return of the Swamp Thing coming out, and they've got Lionheart with Van Damme is coming out. They're doing, it's not, you know, strictly a horror or a camp. They've got a set of titles that's just pretty much kind of niche, and I think it's really cool. And I've started following them, and I'm really excited to see what else they're going to be putting out. But I go right into Vinegar Syndrome here. I've got a handful. Vinegar is really well known for both their adult titles. They just released this, 5 years, five films, 5 years. And this is 5, you know, adult titles from the golden age of erotica. This is set 1 or 2. Yeah, this is volume 1. There's 2 volumes. I only have volume 1 right now. And then I do have a handful of their exploitation and horror films, like Ice Cream Man, right here, Jack Frost, Punk Vacation, which I'd never seen but sounded awesome and is a total blind buy, and I really need to check this one out. Psycho Cop Returns. They look really good right next to going into the Twilight Time. I've only got 2 Twilight Times right now. I've got John Carpenter's Vampires, which is a toss-up for one of my favorite John Carpenter movies, this and They Live being the other one. And then Fright Night, which is, if you're a horror fan at all, you know, this is a pretty collectible one. I actually got a good deal. I traded somebody for this, so this is a fun camp movie. And we go into Studio Ghibli. Ghibli? I'm actually not even sure how to pronounce that. I'm not a big anime fan. My wife actually got me into these movies. These are her movies. I got them for her for Christmas, but all movies go into the collection. I just put these in here, and I think that they look nice. There's a few more that actually I want to get for her. There's some good movies. And then I go right into, we've got Scream and Shout I mixed together here. So I have a lot, well, I don't have a lot compared to some people, but I have, you know, a handful of some of my favorite horror movies that are released through the Scream Factory label, but I have no problem mixing in my Shout movies. So I got Bill and Ted and Matinee are Shout Select, and then UHF down here on the end is a regular Shout. And I've got a few more coming. The Burbs comes out this month. I've got the Strangers is on its. Oh, the Strangers was here, so it's the other one. It's Behind the Mask is on its way. So there's a handful of more that I've got, which leads me to the problem that I have no room left on there, because you go right from this, and this is packed right in tight into my normal Blu-ray collection, and I've got a ton of stuff in here that these are all alphabetical. So there really isn't really much I can do with these, short of the fact that I have now gone onto this shelf over here, and then I do have some room to grow on the bottom. These go all the way down over here to Zootopia. And we got a little guy over there holding them up in place. And then I go down here, and I've got some Blu-ray steelbooks down on the bottom. Is pretty much how I do these. And then a couple of big box sets, Twilight Zone series, Back to the Future, Rocky Horror, things that don't really fit on the shelf regularly, so they're just on there. So I do have room to grow. I have a whole extra empty shelf before I go into the HD DVDs, and if it comes down to it, I will certainly move the HD DVDs. They don't really get watched that much, if at all. But I do like having them out there, because they look just as good as the, you know, on the shelf as the Blu-rays. So, yeah, so what'll end up happening is, now that I've got more, I know for sure that I've got more coming, I end up having to just shift everything down. But that's cool. Actually, it's kind of a zen thing for me to do, is to kind of, you know, just reorganize the collection and everything. You know, because a lot of times you forget what you have, you know, and sometimes just going through them is kind of fun. Or you know, you end up having movies that will never be released. This is something that I actually made myself. The Willies is one of my favorite movies. It's never going to get a Blu-ray release. I have a bunch of copies of it on DVD from all over the world, because like I said, it's one of my favorite movies. And I decided to make that just for fun. But it looks good on the shelf. I think anybody who wouldn't know that it's not a real copy of the movie. It does look like, how about that? I have a copy of The Strangers, unrated, right here on Blu-ray. And I didn't even realize that I had this. See, that's what happens when you're going through. You don't even realize you have something. And now that I have the Scream Factory version, I think I should do a giveaway of this copy right here. I mean, why the heck not, right? So yeah, let's do that. Let's my first video back in 2 years, I'm going to do a giveaway of this movie. All you have to do is comment in this video and maybe share it. Nah, I don't even care if you share it. It'd be cool if you shared it, but why don't you just go ahead and just comment on there. If you've ever seen this movie, tell me something you like about this movie. Tell me your favorite horror movie. And I'll choose a winner at random. We'll give it a couple of weeks, because I don't know how many, if anybody, is even going to watch this video. So we'll give it some time. But yeah, go ahead. Let's do a giveaway of this. That's pretty cool. So yeah, guys, that's my first video back. I don't want to take up all the time in the world. So I just want to say thanks so much for watching, and there'll be more to come.